So, we all think we know the story of the modern Samson, right? This epic hero, this titan. But what if the hero isn't a person at all? What if the hero is an action? Today, we're going to look at this myth through a totally different lens, a philosophical one that shows us a hero isn't just born, they are actively, constantly creating themselves.
In this question, it really cuts to the core of everything. Is being a hero some kind of static title you hold, something you are? Or is it something you're constantly doing? A performance, an ongoing choice. This one little shift in perspective changes absolutely everything. You see, the old way of looking at Samson is as this fixed object, a static bridge to some higher meaning. But we're flipping that on its head. In this new view, Samson isn't the bridge, he is the dynamic act of bridging. And that means meaning isn't something out there for him to find, it's something he actively creates with every step. So, where does this wild idea come from? Well, the key that unlocks this whole new way of seeing the story comes from an 18th century German philosopher named Johann Gottlieb Fichte. His ideas about what it means to be a self are going to give us the framework to see Samson not just as a character, but as a living, breathing philosophical force. Okay, so Fichte's central idea is what he calls the I, or the self. Now, for him, your self isn't a thing you have, like a wallet in your pocket. It's an activity. It's a non-stop act of asserting your own existence. It's a verb, not a noun. He even had a special word for it, Tathandlung, which means act, deed. You aren't just a being, you are a constant state of becoming.
Right, so if the I is always acting, what's it acting against? Fichte calls this the not I. And it's everything else. The world, its challenges, gravity, obstacles. But here's the kicker. The not I isn't your enemy. It's actually necessary. You need that resistance, that thing to push against, just to know you have strength in the first place. And this is where it all clicks back to our hero. In this Fichtean world, the modern Samson is the ultimate expression of this idea. He is the absolute I made real, a being whose entire existence is defined by his continuous, powerful assertion of his will against the world.
So how does this actually play out in the story? Let's start with that iconic moment, the lightning strike. We all think of it as this magical gift of power, right? But through this philosophical lens, it's something else entirely. When that lightning came down, Samson wasn't just a passive receiver. He wasn't getting a gift from some god. He was encountering a massive, overwhelming force of resistance from the not I. Fichte actually has this perfect word for it, Anstas. It means a check, an impact, a kind of cosmic wake-up call from the outside world. That lightning bolt wasn't a gift of power. It was the Anstas that shocked Samson's I into waking up and realizing the immense raw potential it had all along. I love this. He stares into this cataclysmic, world-breaking event, and he doesn't see some deity to bow down to. He sees a mirror. He sees a reflection of the power that was already inside him, just waiting to be claimed. And in that moment of recognition, the lightning becomes his. Now, this next part might sound a little backward at first. For all this incredible, boundless power to actually mean anything, it needs boundaries. An infinite force with no shape is just chaos. So let's talk about the power of limitation. Think about the central conflict going on inside him. It's a constant dialogue. On one side, you've got his infinite will, that boundless, lightning-born spirit. And on the other, you have his finite flesh, his human fragility, his mortality, and, most importantly, the vows he chooses to take on. Let's take his famous Nazarene vow. We usually see it as a weakness, right? A restriction designed to hold him back. But in this Fichtean view, it is the exact opposite. The vow is a self-imposed not I. It's a boundary he creates for himself, like riverbanks that channel a raging flood and give it direction and force. Without those limits, his strength would just be a formless, useless mess. So this whole process, this constant push and pull between his will and his limits, it follows a pattern, a kind of dialectic. Step 1, he posits himself. He declares, I am a force of nature. Step 2, he smacks into the world's resistance, the not I. And step 3, through that struggle, he doesn't just win or lose. He reaches a higher synthesis, a totally new level of consciousness. And all this struggle is leading somewhere. It's leading to the climax of his inner journey. And it's not about destroying one part of himself to save the other. It's about forging them together into something powerful and new. Look, Sampson has this beast inside him, his raw, earthly, primal drives. And he doesn't try to kill it. No way. He enlists it. The beast is the engine. It provides the raw horsepower, the momentum. But it's his soul, his conscious I, that's at the steering wheel, providing the direction. And when those two forces, the engine and the driver, the beast and the soul, are perfectly aligned and working together, he achieves what we're calling the sacred yes. It's that beautiful moment where the internal war is over and the whole system becomes a self-powering, harmonious force. And this is his ultimate comeback against the biggest not I there is, the abyss, the void, nothingness itself. The abyss looks at him and says, "You are nothing," but his response is the most Fitchean thing imaginable. He says, "I am the one who says I am, and because I say it, you, the void, are just the floor I walk on." He doesn't deny it, he defines it. This takes us to the final, and maybe the most mind-bending realization of his entire journey. It's the point where the lines between the hero, his mission, and the world itself just dissolve. You know that feeling of being on a tightrope over an abyss? That fear goes away when you realize you're not separate from the path. At this highest level of awareness, the actor and the action are the same thing. He's no longer a man walking the rope. He is the rope. This is the ultimate realization. He is the path and the one walking it. That whole internal war between his infinite power and his finite body, it's over. It's resolved in his own heartbeat. And the world is no longer some dead prison he has to endure. It's become a living extension of his own creative will. He's not finding meaning anymore. He is the act of making meaning. And this is his final, triumphant shout. It just perfectly sums up the whole philosophy. His existence isn't passive. His whole life, his world, is an act of will. It's a deed he performs constantly. The bridge builds itself with every single step he takes into the void. So that leaves us with one last question, turning this whole epic story back on ourselves. If our world isn't just a place we happen to live in, but a deed we are constantly performing, what world are you performing right now?